Hello, kia ora, I'm Philip Duncan. Thanks for joining us for our Wednesday weather update for January the 25th. We're tracking a lot of high pressure out to the east. This is it, centred over the top of the Chatham Islands. Now this is encouraging a windier east to northeasterly for the top of the North Island and a warmer northerly flow coming in for many parts of the South Island, especially inland areas. We've got this low pressure system to the north, the one that nearly became a tropical cyclone at the weekend over New Caledonia. Now, it's not a storm, as you can see, but it is dragging down that tropical moisture. So not only does the low bring with it some tropical rain, but between the low and the high, we've got the squash zone, and that means windy weather. And with a squash zone, the wind and the rain are usually layered over the top of each other. So it's all sort of in the same spot. A bit different to a storm where the wind and the rain can be in two different places. So we'll keep an eye on this as it moves on through. We've got the latest forecast for you. And in Australia, while you can see a fair amount of low pressure in the darker colours there's not a lot going on. It's fairly quiet, few inland downpours and thunderstorms, but this is the main feature just passing by Tasmania. So let's take a look at the rainfall. This is the 36-hour rainfall map starting from 7 o'clock tomorrow night, Thursday, until 7 o'clock Friday morning. And so what we're seeing here is rain moving into the north from that low coming out of New Caledonia. And the rainfall totals in this 36-hour map are taking you up to 70 or 80 millimetres. And there's more rain falling across Saturday after 7 a.m. on Saturday. So this is just part of the picture, but you can see Northland is going to have the bulk of the rain to begin with, mostly falling on Friday and Saturday. Then it slides down, and then around about Sunday it starts to go backwards again, and by Monday it may well be improving. So we're going to take you on that journey in a moment. And we've got the rain on the west coast, a little bit of that coming out of the low from the north. We've also got that low pressure zone from Tasmania passing to the south. That's going to drive in a cold front on Friday to Southland. Let's have a look at the forecast. So here we are on Thursday. You've got the low to the north, the high to the east, the windier squash zone in the middle here. So you're going to notice those winds picking up further as we go through the day. Nothing too major in there, but maybe getting up to gale force in some of these marine areas, and a bit of rain on the west coast. Most of Australia dry and settled apart from Darwin with the usual thunderstorms, and the tropics are also looking surprisingly quiet. Let's go to Friday. This is when the low moves in and the squash zone between the low and the high. So you've got the windy weather, and as I say, with a squash zone, the windiest weather and the rain are usually on top of each other, and that's what we're seeing right here. So around parts of Northland and Auckland, and then later on, going into Friday night, moves into Coromandel Peninsula. Timing is not the best, I understand that with the long weekend coming through, but hopefully it will improve as we go through the weekend. So if you can take the Tuesday off, which most people won't be able to do, but if you could do that, then that might be the better option, because Friday night, Saturday morning are not looking too flash. Now, the other part of this feature is the cold front coming into the South Island. Gore, your temperature on Thursday is 27, the maximum. It's only 17 on Friday, so that's quite a big cooler change coming through for you, but it is short-lived. By Saturday, you're back to the warmer northerlies again, and your temperatures are going back up into the 20s. In the North Island, that heavy rain, this is lunchtime Saturday, most of it's around Coromandel Peninsula and parts of Bay of Plenty. It sort of will move around a wee bit. This is not 100% locked in, but generally it's locked in. In other words, we are expecting, with high confidence, low pressure to the north and high pressure to the east. So it is a little bit windy and wet. Like I say, the bulk of the rain is just in a narrow area. Elsewhere, it's more showery, and in fact the sun coming back out again as we go through the day. And then we get into Sunday and it starts to go backwards, moving back in towards Northland again and clearing up more so around Bay of Plenty. It might take until the afternoon, but it's moving backwards. Now, these winds are a little bit annoying, but they're not necessarily damaging or problematic. The word annoying is something I'm going to use a fair bit to describe these winds because of people going away camping, but there may be some isolated power cuts. It could be the odd branch that can break. Because it's a nor'easter, they can be a little bit tricky with the branches because the predominant wind is a westerly. Over in Australia, not a lot of action, but we do have some thundery activity inland, otherwise fairly quiet. And then we go through to Monday next week, Auckland Anniversary. We've got a few showers and periods of rain to the north, but mostly pushed backwards by the high, which is still very strong, 1030 hectopascals. And then that curving flow means rain comes back into the west coast. And our final map for Tuesday next week shows, once again, no real change. That's why we're saying we've got this set up for at least a week. It's probably 10 or 11 days worth of nor'easters. Now on this map for next Tuesday, the winds ramp back up again because the low is obviously a little deeper and the high got up a little bit in strength. So that adds a little bit more oomph into these winds here. So this is a long and weird sort of event. It's not necessarily stormy. Like I say, it may be more annoying for some people, and it's going to linger. So we've got a warm burst of weather coming up for many places, humid as well, and that rain and wind lingering around the north. To make sense of all of this, just go to ruralweather.co.nz. If you're going away camping, in graph form, you can just see where the wind is going to be at its worst and the rain. And if you own a campground, you obviously don't want to be hearing what I'm saying at the moment, but you have to face reality obviously as well. So the rural weather site's really good for helping you as a campground owner work out when perhaps the worst weather will be. And so that's also a helpful thing for running the business. That is all from me for today. We'll be back again tomorrow with the next update, and hopefully we can see some more sunny spells as we go in for the weekend for those in the north of the country. That is all from me for today though. We'll see you tomorrow.